Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, greedy owner tries to rip off my friend, ends up paying him double. My family murdered a rapist. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Greedy owner tries to rip off my friend, ends up paying him double. My first job out of college was for a local TV station. The owner was, and still is, the worst human being I've ever met. This guy has money, but he will cheat and lie, anything to get out of paying his bills. When I started working there, the owner had just signed a contract with DirecTV to become part of their broadcast package. Since they were at the time purely a local TV station, this meant that we had about 2 months to upgrade our system so that we can start broadcasting to DirecTV customers in the entire Bay Area. Every day that we failed to do this past the deadline means that the owner would suffer a penalty, per the contract. Not knowing about how any of this works, the owner hired a friend of mine to come in as a freelance consultant. My friend told him that for about $15,000 he can get a system that will automate the entire process, which of course this guy didn't want to pay. He tasked my friend with finding a cheaper way, around half, and to pay for all the hardware up front and get reimbursed later. Knowing what a piece of sh*t this guy is, I warned my friend not to front the money because he wouldn't get paid back. The guy just smiled and said, "Watch me." So he made it work. We went live on schedule and the owner was happy. Then my friend went in and presented the guy with the bill. Immediately, the usual excuses starts, "Oh, I'm a little short this month, can I pay you later, etc., etc." Then my friend pulled out the trump card. Not only did my friend threaten to take all the equipments back and takes the station off the air, he reveals that in order to get the uplink working for cheap, someone had to come in every day and code the broadcast manually. It's not a terribly complicated procedure, takes less than 5 minutes, but of course no one else at the station knows how to do it but him. So either the owner can pay him what he's owed, plus a $2,000 per month consulting fee, or the station goes dark and he starts paying the penalty to DirecTV. He paid fast. So instead of $15,000, he ended up shelling out more than double that amount as my friend lapped up his $2,000 per month fee for close to a year before he felt bad and finally teach someone there how to do it. Moral of the story: only thinking about short-term gain will always cost you more in the long run. My family murdered a rapist. This is my grandfather's story. It would have occurred sometime in the early 1960s. My grandpa comes from a very remote part of my country. Even in the 60s they lived in a log cabin without a phone or electricity. He lived with his 3 brothers, his sister, his father, and his mother. It was a violent household. My great-grandfather was an alcoholic. My grandpa, his siblings, and his mother were accustomed to beatings. The culture of the time was to accept this as a harsh reality of the remote and difficult lives that were led so far from civilization. My great-aunt was the youngest of the siblings, and as my grandpa and his brothers grew into young men and began working, she was left at home and began to take on the role of housekeeper as my great-grandmother was often ill. She would often use her bad health as an excuse for not stopping what happened next. My great-grandfather began raping my great-aunt at some point, most likely before she had even begun puberty. It continued for years, as the brothers all moved out and she was left completely alone. My grandpa says he truly did not know. He worried for his sister receiving the brunt of the beatings, but he didn't know about the rape. I hope that's true. When my great-aunt was 13, she became pregnant with her father's son. The night my grandpa found out, him and his brothers snowmobiled out from town, and since none of them owned a gun, they had to use shovels to beat their father to death. The ground was frozen solid, so they burnt him, which also helped to destroy the evidence, I suppose. Although I'm not sure anyone ever questioned how my great-grandfather had died, these were very different times. My great-aunt's son, born of incest, is afflicted with genetic issues. He can barely see and he only has a single functioning kidney. But he is happy and has healthy kids in their 20s now. My great aunt drank herself to death in the 80s, as did my great grandmother, so I never met them. My grandpa told he all this when he was drunk, as he has also become an alcoholic. So has my dad. The generational trauma of my family is thankfully now broken with me and my siblings, but this revenge murder, this disgusting hurt, was really just another sad piece of a puzzle of abuse that started long ago. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.